It seems like every morning I wake up and there's a giant new Trudeau scandal. And yet, every morning I wake up and he's still the Prime Minister. He still hasn't resigned. He still hasn't been forced to resign. Well, anyway, here we go. Here's the latest. So this started a couple of days ago. This is the headline from May 1st. Conservative MP Michael Chong said feds did not brief him on alleged threats to his family in China. Conservative Member of Parliament Michael Chong says Ottawa should have informed him about potential threats to his family made by China's government. So Canadian intelligence knew 2 years ago that China was intending to harass this MP, Michael Chong, and his family. And this MP routinely criticizes the regime in Beijing for its human rights record and its alleged attempts to meddle in Canadian affairs. So this was known about for 2 years, and Justin Trudeau has claimed that he didn't find out about it until Monday, until the story came out. And that's his MO. He just, whatever it is, he pretends, I didn't know. I have never seen any world leader more willing to declare themselves incompetent, although we know that he knew. Of course he knew. And that brings us to this headline. Trudeau's department was sent report of China threatening MP. The Prime Minister's security advisor knew of threats to MP. Why didn't he? Of course he knew. And we know why this was swept under the rug, because he thought it was politically inconvenient. Because if we've learned anything, it must be that Trudeau is just a pure political animal. There is nothing else. There is no substance to the man. It's all politics all the time. Anyway, in this article by Brian Lilly in the Toronto Sun, he says, utter incompetence is the best case scenario for why Michael Chong wasn't told about threats made by China against him and his family 2 years ago. Contrary to what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Wednesday, the CSIS report detailing the threat was sent beyond the intelligence agency. In fact, it went to Trudeau's department. This was the shock revelation in the House of Commons Wednesday when Chong himself got up to ask the government to correct the record. And let's watch that.
Mr. Speaker, I've just been informed by the National Security Advisor that the CSIS Intelligence Assessment of July 20th, 2021 was sent by CSIS to the relevant departments and to the National Security Advisor in the PCO. This report contained information that I and other MPs were being targeted by the PRC. This contradicts what the Prime Minister said yesterday. He said CSIS made the determination that it wasn't something that needed to be raised to a higher level because it wasn't a significant enough concern. Will the Prime Minister correct the record that this report and information was sent to the departments and to the Privy Council office?
The Honourable Minister of Public Service.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my colleague for sharing that update with this chamber. I can also assure him that, as the Prime Minister said, and I said earlier this week, that we found out on Monday of this week, which is why we acted very quickly and decisively to reach out directly to the member for Wellington Halton Hills, make sure that he was offered a briefing, had that briefing happen, and we will continue to work with him to address and mitigate any concerns around foreign interference, because every member in this chamber deserves to be able to do their work in representing their constituencies in a manner that is safe and secure.
The Honourable Member.
Absolutely typical empty-headed non-answer. Well, let's keep going.
Mr. Speaker, CSIS has been advising the government, the departments, the Privy Council Office, the National Security Advisor, deputy ministers, that foreign agents in Canada, foreign diplomats in Canada are presenting a threat to Canadian MPs in this House of Commons. In fact, the 2022 intelligence report of CSIS today says that these threat actors must be held accountable for their clandestine activities. And we also will continue to inform national security stakeholders and all Canadians about foreign interference. So why is the government not listening to the advice of CSIS and not listening to the advice in the reports that are being distributed?
Anyway, it says here that on Wednesday, Trudeau said that he and his office only found out about this matter when it broke in the media Monday morning, and immediately asked for an investigation on why no one knew. Which is worse? Is it the incompetence or is it lying? Because it's one of those two. Which one is worse? Maybe they're just as bad as each other. Maybe it's just time that Trudeau stepped down and resigned. Come on. How much more of this do we need to take? How much more of this can Canada take? And I got to tell you, it's becoming disheartening. But one thing that keeps my spirits up is that I know that even though I'll wake up tomorrow morning and there'll probably be another scandal, one morning I will wake up and Justin Trudeau will no longer be Prime Minister. One day. Anyway, please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.